Good afternoon and welcome to Two-A-Day on your Packer Link Up. Today is Monday, August 11th, and you're watching the 5 o'clock edition. Well, it's not about news today on Two-A-Day, it's about football. Monday Night Football, the preseason opener against the Cincinnati Bengals. We're at Lambeau, so it's a home game. 7 o'clock Central Time, I believe, on ESPN. They're going to be playing Monday Night Football tonight, so what I thought we'd do is go through my hopes and a few maybe predictions about what we're going to see tonight. So first and foremost, I think, and most people would agree with this, Aaron Rodgers needs to have a good, solid start in these preseason games. Aaron has talked to reporters saying for him it's not about how many reps he gets or how many quarters he plays. It's about developing a rhythm with the wide receivers, and I think that's true. But I want to caution on that because I also want to interject that we can't wait until the second quarter for Aaron Rodgers to get in a rhythm. He should be in a rhythm with his receivers from the minute the ball is first snapped on the offensive side of the ball. Now, we can help that, the coaches can help that, and the team can help that by establishing a good running game early. And I'm looking for Mike McCarthy this year. You'll remember at the beginning of his tenure as our head coach, he talked about run and said it all starts with the run, and we're going to develop the run. He brought in the zone blocking scheme, and the run completely disappeared for a very long time. Until Ryan Grant was on the scene, our running game was not our strength on offense. And now that Ryan Grant is here, look for Mike McCarthy to be calling more running plays. And add to this the fact that he cannot lean back and rest on the fact that he's got a Hall of Famer slinging the ball around that can get it anywhere at any time and rely on the passing game. It can't be done for the Packers. We cannot win that way this year. We will win by establishing the running game early and opening the field up a little bit, and Aaron Rodgers dropping back and having a little more space to pass so he can make his reads and pass. And the defense won't necessarily. We'll have to keep the defenses honest with our run game for Aaron Rodgers to have success. He needs to have that, and that will help him get our running game. Will help him get his rhythm early. We need to do more than just get a rhythm. We need to get a rhythm early, and we need to have a rhythm from the first quarter on in these games to remain competitive, even in the NFC North, because we're going to be playing against some considerable defensive teams this season. So watch for that. More runs in the offensive scheme, and if that doesn't work, if our run game falters, our team is in trouble, and then we're going to have to rely on the defense to win games for us. So that's what I want to look for and I want to key on. And of course, if our running game is going to be established early, it's going to start up front with our offensive line. There's going to be some changes there, it looks like, this year. So this preseason game tonight will start to tell us how good it has. Our offensive line at the end of last season started to do well. And if Josh Sitton taking over at guard or Darren College having to fill in, maybe some of these offensive linemen changing some roles, gives us a better offensive line, we can be a very good team this year, because then we will be able to establish that run game that is going to make or break our offensive season. On the defensive side of the ball, of course, we've considered our defensive line to be a strength for a long time through last season, not just to be deep, but also to be very strong. I am extremely concerned about our defensive line for two reasons. A, it's injury-ridden right now. We don't know. The talk has been that none of the injuries are significant. Nagging injuries can end up being just as significant because then players stay on the field more than they should. They don't necessarily get reported, but what we do see with these nagging injuries is a drop-off in performance. It does happen. KGB with a nagging ankle injury just all but disappeared for several games last season. Now, my other concern with this is not just the players who are not on the field, but if you've ever had an injury, I had a knee injury, and it's kind of a catch-22 because you have to get off one leg to let it heal, and that means that the other leg does double duty. So what we've got right now is Cullen Jenkins and some of these young guys that we've brought in as undrafted free agents are doing double duty in practice. They are taking on more fatigue so that others can rest. So their reps are going up as the others go down, and that trade-off is a dangerous thing. Cullen Jenkins was injured with one of those nagging injuries much of the season last season, and he did not perform anywhere near what he's capable. That guy is capable of being a superstar, a dominant player on the end. And, of course, he also plays in the middle. But he has been taking so many reps in practice right now. Watch for his performance to not be top-notch, not be quite, and that it's no discredit to him. It's just a fact of life. It is possible that his play and performance will not be quite up to what his potential is. He is a potentially dominating player, and we just might not see that due to the reps he gets. Now, all of this can change. There are 3 more preseason games after tonight, so we will see how McCarthy manages it. He has had a tendency to do what I think is smart and rest the guys that need rest. Al Harris, I don't expect to see him on the field tonight. He will rest the guys that need rest, but we've got a lot of guys that need rest. And so that means just for the players to practice during the week, a certain number of people have to put their hand down on the ground and take snaps. And this season will not be like last season in that regard. We were very healthy last season. Now we will see how we play when our team is not, from the beginning of the year, is not 100% healthy. Now, by the end of the year, if we can get healthy, that will be fine. And even if we drop a game or 2 in between because we just couldn't field the players, it will be fine if we can get healthy by the end of the season. But it is a concern at the beginning of the season. So that's my biggest concern on defense is our defensive linemen. Defensive backs, I think we're going to get better at this position. I think if Will Blackman can play some, we've got some of these new guys in there. Our draft pick, Pat, I can't remember his last name, but he will. It looks like he may be a guy that really can play this bump and run coverage that we play. So I think we're going to get better, and I think that part of the reason Aaron Rodgers didn't look good during family night is because our coverage units are doing very well right now. Our linebackers, I don't know what we'll see in the preseason games, but overall I want to look for them to be more active, for Abdul Hodge, for Brandon Chiller, Brady Papinga, for these kind of guys that are not necessarily starters, to get out and make some big hits. We may not have as many blitz packages in as we would during the normal season, but overall I want to see our defense more active, and I think that is one thing, having worked in the same defensive scheme for several years now, that we will be able to do, and hopefully not just have opposing quarterbacks worry about our skill level on an individual basis and our assignment surety and being where we're supposed to be, but also worry about where we're going to come from. Is Akari Bigby going to be blitzing? Are there going to be stunts by the linebackers? Tom Brady was defeated in the Super Bowl because they kept him on his toes. He didn't know where people were necessarily going to come from. It's as much about outthinking them as it is about outplaying them. We've got the players to outplay people, but if we play vanilla defense all the way through like we mostly did last year, we're not going to have the kind of success that we did last year, necessarily. And so I think our defense is going to be good. I think injuries are going to be a factor. But I think our special teams, I think, are going to be up again, too. We've added a couple players, and with Will Blackman hopefully back and staying healthy, we could be very good on both sides with the special teams. Punt return and punting, kick return and kickoffs. So let's hopefully we'll see Mason Crosby kick a couple solid field goals right down the middle. That's one thing I worried about him last year. He's very good, but we didn't see the easy ones go straight down the middle. I want to watch the easy kicks go right down the middle, and hey, if he has to kick a 55-yarder, that's fine too, because we know he's got the leg for it. So until tonight after the game, when we'll have plenty to talk about, enjoy. Make sure if you don't have ESPN, go somewhere with a friend who has it. Catch the game tonight, and as always, go Pat.